What if I told you the thing you're most proud of is quietly ruining your life? Let me introduce you to Bob. Bob has a hand in a drawing, a really simple drawing, like a circle, a square, that kind of level. So Bob starts, then erases, starts again, then erases. 3 hours later, Bob has nothing. Zero, nada. And here's the thing, Bob isn't dumb, not even a little. The problem? A tiny voice in his head, repeating the same line on a loop. If it's not perfect, don't hand in anything at all. Welcome to the brain of a perfectionist. And fair warning, it's nothing like what you think. Okay, before we start, let's get one thing straight. This is a psychology channel, but with no lab coat, no 10-syllable words, and zero guilt tripping. The goal is simple. By the end of this video, you'll actually get what's going on inside a perfectionist's head. Maybe even inside yours. We'll see, and if you catch yourself somewhere in here, don't worry, you're not alone. Like, really not alone. Stick around, let me show you. First big surprise. When I say perfectionist, what do you picture? The super organized guy, pens all lined up, work turned in early, spotless. The straight A student, right? Yeah, no, that's postcard perfectionism. The real one, the painful one, the one that actually wrecks people, looks a lot more like this. A guy who hands in nothing, because nothing will ever be good enough. See the difference? Perfectionism isn't liking things done well. Everybody likes that. The perfectionism that hurts is something else. It's when you stop telling yourself, I want to do this well, and start telling yourself, I have to be perfect or I'm worth nothing. And here's an important little detail. Perfectionism isn't even officially a disorder. You won't find it in any manual as its own diagnosis. So why are we talking about it? Because it's something way sneakier. It's like an invisible ingredient that slips into a bunch of other struggles. Anxiety, depression, burnout, eating disorders. Psychologists have a word for it, transdiagnostic. Translation, it's a tiny pebble in your shoe that eventually ruins the whole walk. Now, careful, there's a catch. Perfectionism isn't 100% the bad guy. It comes in two flavors. Let me introduce you to the two Bobs. Both of them aim crazy high. Same bar, same ambition. The difference is what happens when they fail. Green Bob fails and goes, okay, that wasn't great, noted, let me try again. He falls, he gets back up. His high standards pull him upward. That's healthy perfectionism, the kind that helps you grow. Red Bob fails and crumbles. I'm useless. I never should have tried. Everyone's going to see it. His high standards crush him. That's toxic perfectionism. Same height, two completely different lives. And guess which one we're going to spend the rest of this video on? Alright, the big question, why is Red Bob like this? Was he born a perfectionist? Partly, yeah. There's a bit of wiring to it. Some people are just built more organized or more sensitive to stress. But the bulk of it, it gets built in childhood. Picture little Bob. He brings home an A minus. He's happy. He runs to show it off. And then, an A minus, huh? Why not a full A? Oof. Now run that scene 100 times, 1,000 times. And little Bob's brain learns a rule. A pretty rotten rule, but a rule. They don't love me for who I am. They love me for what I pull off. Psychologists call this conditional validation. In plain terms, affection becomes a reward you have to earn. And from that point on, Bob spends his whole life trying to earn it. Again and again. Never once feeling like he's finally in the clear. Quick note, because it matters. The point here isn't to trash the parents. Most of them do this thinking they're helping. I push him for his own good. Understanding where a thing comes from isn't about blaming someone. It's just turning the light on in a room that was pitch dark. And now, my favorite part, the big paradox. Buckle up, because this is where everything flips. The perfectionist thinks he's in control of everything. That's literally the whole plan. If I do everything perfectly, nothing bad can happen to me. Except in real life, the exact opposite happens. Watch. 1. Procrastination, the most counterintuitive thing in the world. You'd think a perfectionist works nonstop, right? Nope. A lot of the time, he doesn't even start, because starting means risking making something imperfect. So as long as he doesn't start, Technically, he hasn't failed yet. See the twisted logic? Nothing scares him less than not perfect. 2. Avoidance. Red Bob runs from anything he's not sure he'll crush. New activity? No thanks, I might be bad at it. And so his life shrinks. He only does what he already knows he's good at. He stops learning anything new. His comfort zone becomes a tiny little box. 3, and this is the nastiest one. From the outside, nobody sees a thing because Bob looks like he's got it together. Competent. He's handling it. So nobody suspects that on the inside, it's a permanent storm. The exhaustion, the sleepless nights, that little voice criticizing everything nonstop. And that's the trap inside the trap. The perfectionist suffers in silence, usually until it truly boils over. The body ends up talking when the mouth won't. The fatigue that lingers, the wrecked sleep, the knotted stomach, the headaches. So let's recap. He wanted control. What he got: anxiety, procrastination, a shrinking life, and an exhaustion nobody can see. Great deal? Perfectionism. Really nailed it. So maybe you're thinking, okay, but just stop, right? Just ease up. If only. Getting out of perfectionism is weirdly, ridiculously hard, and for a pretty brilliant reason when you think about it. To get better, Bob has to do the exact thing he spends his whole life avoiding: accept being imperfect, accept doing something just okay. For someone whose entire identity rests on, I have to be perfect, that's dizzying. It's like telling someone who's terrified of heights that the fix is to jump. And there's a second trap. Sometimes perfectionism actually works. It brings the good grades, the praise, the wins. So part of Bob thinks, if I let go, I'll lose everything. He clings to his burden. That's what makes this thing so sticky. All right, enough doom and gloom. The good news, and there's a real one, is that this is workable. Genuinely. Here are 3 keys, tested, proven, that help Bob finally breathe. Key number 1, catch the voice. That little voice going, you're useless, one mistake equals catastrophe. The first step is just to notice it, to go, there's the voice again. Because a thought you look straight in the eye has way less power than a thought spinning in the dark. Bob learns to answer back. Okay, a mistake is a mistake, not proof that I'm worthless. Key number 2, the real world test. This one's my favorite. Bob deliberately hands in something at 95%. An email he only proofreads once. Work that's really good, but not perfect. And he watches what happens. And the sky doesn't fall on his head. Nobody dies. The world keeps turning. Every time he runs this test, his brain logs a new piece of evidence. Imperfection is survivable. And little by little, the fear loosens its grip. Key number 3, and maybe the most important, talk to yourself like you talk to a friend. Ask yourself this. If your best friend messed something up, would you tell him you're pathetic, you're worthless? No, of course not. You'd say, hey, it's all right, it happens, you're human. Well, psychologists have a name for aiming that at yourself: self-compassion. Treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give someone you love. And this isn't fluffy feel-good stuff, by the way. It's literally the most powerful antidote to that inner critic, because you move forward a whole lot better with an ally in your head than a prosecutor. So, there it is. The goal was never to turn Bob into some slacker who doesn't care about anything. We're not trying to kill his ambition. We just want to loosen the knot, keep the high standards, but strip out the part that hurts. Go from I have to be perfect to be worth something to I'm allowed to move forward as a human with my screw-ups and all. And if you saw yourself in Bob today, in the blank sheet, in the voice that judges, in the front-facing smile, I want you to hold on to just one thing. The fact that nothing ever feels good enough to you doesn't mean you're not good enough. It just means the bar got set way too high a long time ago by someone else, and a bar can be reset. And finally, take care of your head. It works hard for you. It deserves a little kindness back. If this video hit home, you know what to do. Subscribe. Bob's got plenty of other mental struggles to walk you through. Next time, we break down the next topic. And trust me, you're going to see yourself in that one too. See you soon. Take care of yourself.